Hi, welcome to the latest edition of the Spill the Bee podcast. We're bringing it back after a really long time. This is kind of a special episode because we're all on lockdown now. And so, me and my co host Iscent are doing a special episode where we just talk about how this crisis has affected academic competitions, what we're doing during this time, and just discussing some other things. Hi.
Hi, it's really nice to be here.
So, what do you think has how do you think this thing has affected competitions?
I just want to say that I know how much academic competitions are to a lot of people. It's an extension of the learning environment and, it's taken away from us, especially for competitors in their last year. It's really devastating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know that, I know a lot of spellers obviously in their last year that, people are pitching for to win and everyone was so excited. And, now I just can't imagine how it would be for them to, work for this since they were in elementary school or whatever and not be able to carry out their dream. That just it sounds really, really traumatic. So I hope that, they're taking this time alone to just process it and know that, even if they don't have that platform, I guess, to demonstrate their hard work, that it's not for waste.
I feel like a lot of people that can relate to that are also high school seniors. I know you're a senior, Sneha.
Yeah.
I have a brother who's a senior, and that his graduation was supposed to be like a really huge moment for him, and that's taken away too. I feel like the entire world has come to just like a standstill. Like we went from being so
Right.
busy all the time to nothing. It's really shocking.
Yeah. And yeah, like you said, for high school seniors to, and it's not just graduation, right? It's like we have, this month for me was going to be the couple months that, I just stopped working and actually enjoyed, the last moments of high school before we went to college and have to be adults. But sometimes I feeling bad about that because, so many people are losing their jobs and that's just huge, and I cannot imagine how horrible it is to for the future to be so uncertain that that you don't have a job and that you have to live on unemployment benefits, and to not know when you're going to get your job back, or even after this crisis end, if the economy is probably not going to do well for a long time. So it's scary. So I feel bad sometimes, feeling bad oh, it's just graduation while people are out there losing their jobs. But I think this has impacted each of us in a very personal and individual way. And as long as I guess acknowledge that there are people probably that this is affected them way worse than you, it's okay to grieve for the things you lost. I think.
It's it's really I don't know, it's just so shocking. And also for the people who do go to work, I have parents who are both in the medical field, and
Oh
they
yeah.
are constant fears that they'll come home and they'll unknowingly spread it to their kids. And I know a lot of other medical professionals share that fear. And also, I just want to say thank you to all the medical professionals currently, because
Absolutely.
this is the scariest thing ever. Probably my entire life, this is the scariest thing I'll ever face.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know my family friends and people that, are in their 60s and 70s are even saying that they've never seen anything like this before. This is probably the largest scale something like this has happened on, and especially with media and people traveling so much, the news and the virus, they both spread so fast, and it's so easy. I used to check the number of cases and deaths at least 6 or 7 times a day, and it kind of got really, really toxic after a point. That's why my thought process was I got out of school a month ago tomorrow, actually. So when I got out, it was right after midterms. So initially I was like, oh yeah, I don't have to go back to school, right? But then it began to sink in how serious this is and the implications it will have. Right now, I don't even know if I can go to college in fall, right? Because even if it gets better by then, like there's the entire second wave thing, right? So I just, yeah, it hit, I feel like it hit everyone pretty hard, like like a week or two in. You realize that like this is going to have really, really long term effects. But yeah, I think it's really important to, like, I definitely stay informed, right? Like, know what's going on so you can be safe and make sure everyone around you is safe too. But I definitely think it's important to not be constantly checking the news either because at the end of the day, there's nothing that we can do other than take care of ourselves and stay away from other people, right? Yeah, I think this is like affecting a lot of people in, I don't know, like maybe not the best way, right? Because it is really scary for the future to be so uncertain. But if there's one positive in all of this, it's that we get this much time to ourselves, right? And like with our family. So I guess even though this is really hard for me, how I'm using it is to spend time with my family, right? Because I'm going away to college soon. So I guess I'm trying to, but it's tough.
So I just want to say, I think I found out that my school was closing on March 13th, and I remember I was on like a
Same
high.
actually. Yeah.
I was so happy. I was like, "Oh my God, I'm done with school. I hate school so much. I can't wait to get out." And then like after a week settled in, I was like, "Oh my God, I miss school." And I think the first weekend before we actually started online school, I was obsessively watching Netflix, like, cause The Office is gonna be taken off this year, so I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
I need to, I need to watch it again. So I think I was on like season 5 or something, and by the end of that week, I was like on season 7. So it was not healthy at all, for sure. And
Yeah.
I've actually spent a lot of time outside since this started. Like I've been started to take daily walks, which is
Nice.
great. But there's only so much of my neighborhood I can see. It kind of
Yeah.
gets a little boring after a while. But yeah, nothing
Yeah.
much. I just I know I'm really praying that this, if I'm really praying that we have some positive takeaways from this. And also, I want to bring this up. You remember the video of like celebrities singing Imagine?
Mm, no. When did it
Okay,
happen?
I think it was Gal Gadot. Like she made a video with like a bunch of celebrities and they were singing Imagine. And like a lot of people were
Oh,
saying like they were really pissed off that like celebrities were just, trying to take advantage of like this time to like try to make content. And like I personally speaking, I think it's a good thing that we realize that like, I'm not saying the entertainment industry is bad. I'm just saying that like maybe we don't need to give it as much focus as we should be giving to like, essential workers, especially right now because they're literally carrying the world on their
definitely.
backs. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
I hope celebrities don't get as much focus as they do once we come back from this.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like for me it's weird, like you open up your headlines, like the news notifications you get every morning when you
Yeah.
wake up, and like a lot of them are like about the coronavirus or like, appreciating like a healthcare worker, and then there's one just like random inconsequential news headline about a celebrity, which, it's taking up room that could be better spent. But I do get what they're doing, that like, like putting out fun little things like this are like, nice to see when you're pretty down because of this. But yeah, I get, so it's kind of like a balance, I guess, that you have to hit, right? Because it's nice to entertain people because that is their job, and they're just doing their job because entertaining people does make them feel better, especially during a time like this. But I definitely think that, like, yeah, they shouldn't be taking up space in the news, I
So
guess.
again, like I
Yeah.
wanted to say, like you have no idea how grateful like we should be as a community, worldwide community, to like essential workers, because like I remember people before this happened, people would always be like, oh, you're just going to be working in a grocery store if you don't go to college, or you're just going to be pumping gas or working at
Yeah.
McDonald's. And now those are the only people who can feed us, who can like help us, and it's such a
Yeah.
contrast. You would never think.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's this, yeah. Yeah, that's one thing that this entire thing has done is like forced all of us to, like first just stop running, like sit down for a bit and like take a step back and like look at yourself and look at people at like with like a different lens, right? I guess. Like you said, like people used to think, yeah, like, oh yeah, you just work at a Rite Aid or something. Like that's such a low job. But the thing is, if that gives them more time to enjoy their life and they get happiness out of it, who are you to judge, right? Honestly. And yeah, like as long as it's not affecting you in any way, I don't see why anyone should care. But yeah, and like they are the people that, like for example, I know we're doing like this thing at Rayleigh's where if you pay some extra money, I think you get like people to come and load the groceries in the back of your trunk. And like what if we had to actually go inside the store and came in contact with someone and got sick, right? So like that service and the people who do that technically would have saved our lives then. You see what I'm saying? So it's not just healthcare workers, it's everyone that's doing their job and making sure that they're staying clean and social distancing, right? So
I also just want to say, shoot, what was I gonna say? I know that like, especially I feel connection to this because my older brother's a senior, but I know that like a lot of seniors who are like, oh, we shouldn't feel bad. I know there's people who can't afford their next meal or, they're so worried for their kids, but it's okay to feel sad. I mean, like, a really big moment of your life was taken away from you in such a devastating way. And, like, I mean, they made plans to reschedule his graduation, but, like, even then, it's not going to be the same as it would be, just having that, like, sense of accomplishment that you finished high school, and, prom too. I know prom was like a huge thing, especially because he didn't go to his junior prom, so he was planning on going to like senior prom and like hanging out with his friends, and like that's seen as like absolutely not like a necessity right now, and it's really heartbreaking, and there's nothing you can really do, but it's just a bummer.
yeah, yeah, I think it's okay to, mourn the loss of like even the tiniest things because, they're significant to you. Like while you like as long as you acknowledge that like other people are also going through shit and maybe even more, I really don't think it's a problem. And like you said, like even if, we get to reschedule all of our senior activities and do them all, it's not the same as like, if you're going to school and like oh like we have 3 weeks left, 2 weeks left, then you graduate, like that, like like for me, I haven't been to school on the last day of school for I think the past 5 years or so because I've been going to the spelling bee each year, and to do that, I have to skip the last couple of days of school. So I kind of forgot, like what the last day of school like environment feels like. Everyone's excited. So I was pretty pumped for that, and yeah, like we were gonna go to Disneyland. That was gonna be our senior trip, and then we were gonna go to San Francisco. My group of friends, I think so. Yeah, just even if we get to do all of that, like this entire crisis will like be weighing us all down in the back of our head, and yeah, I think it's a good lesson for all of us that I guess no matter how certain things may seem, you never really know what's gonna happen. So it's important to appreciate the little things, right? Because you don't know if even the things that you have planned will happen. So I guess that's a lesson to learn from this.
Speaking back to the spelling bee, I mean, I know you went. How many times did you compete?
I just competed twice in my seventh and eighth grade, so 2015 and 16.
I think, yeah, I competed 2018, but like, I know how much, especially that was my first and last year, and like, B week was such a huge thing for me. Like, what an experience! It's such a perfect way to kick off summer, and like, even I didn't get too far in the spelling bee, but like, just having like so many spellers around you, it's such a like great environment. Everyone's so supportive. I really want to be on college crew once I go to college. But, I feel bad for the eighth graders who are missing out on that. It's such a great experience, and like it's such a horrible thing to miss because of this, but we're all in this together. It's really, ugh.
Yeah, yeah, like you said, it's such a huge deal, especially for me. Like that's why even though I went in seventh and eighth grade, like I had to come back. So I went back, freshman, sophomore, and junior year. And it's not just a spelling bee, right? Like so many competitions have been canceled. Like I know the international brain bee's been canceled, the GOB, and like even like there are some competitions like the brain bee I know isn't nearly as I don't know popular as a spelling bee, right? But there are people that work just as hard for that. So I think yeah, that's it's really hard to see positives in things like this, but I guess the thing that you can take solace in is that the things you learned will definitely help you later down the road. And like I can't stress this enough, but like no matter what competition it is you studied for, at some point in your life, it's really definitely going to come in handy and you won't regret it even if you don't go to the spelling bee and get the recognition per se. And you can always go back the next year and get the experience, I suppose, if you want. So the recognition, I think it's also important to like support each other in a time like this. Like, all the spellers, for example, that don't really know what's going on, or all the people participating in the geography bee or the brain bee to, support each other and like recognize each other for your hard work because while it's easy to say that, like, oh, why do you want to get recognized? It's like a materialistic thing. It is nice to be rewarded for your hard work. And when that's taken from you, I guess it's just important to recognize each other, right?
On a different note, what kind of Netflix shows have you been binging lately?
Netflix. So I basically only got Netflix after I got out of school. And I haven't watched Netflix in like I think 2.5 years. So I have a lot to catch up on. So yeah, let me go to my Netflix right now and see what I have added. So I'm watching Elite right now. I finished Lucifer. I watched You. I'm starting The Flash. I'm starting 13 Reasons Why. Altered Carbon. I'm gonna start The Office. Black Mirror. Umbrella Academy. Orange is the New Black. Yeah, I'm basically watching like 5 or 6 hours of Netflix a day. Not good, not ideal, but I have a lot to catch up on. So, this is the time, you're always like, oh, there's Netflix shows that I'd never have the time to watch. This is the time to watch. Yep.
That's so funny. I want to catch up on Netflix. Okay, so right before our quarantine started, right? Like I think this summer or something, I had like money on my credit card, so I was like, you know what, I'll just buy a Netflix subscription. So that lasted like last summer, but then it had to end, and my parents were like, "There's no way we're letting you keep a Netflix." So what ended up happening was I like mooched off my friend's Netflix, right? And so on Netflix, there's I don't know if you've heard of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's probably my favorite show right now. It has like Andy Samberg. That's the only reason I watch, and like I'm literally in love with it now. But that show's not on Netflix, so I was like, shoot, what am I gonna do? And so she has Hulu too, and so it's on Hulu, and so I was like, I think I remember it was Valentine's Day, and I was making some really like offhanded comments. I was like, I really wish I could watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and she was like, do you just want my Hulu? And I was like, yeah. So she gave it to me. So I literally, I'm using, yeah, I'm using her Netflix and Hulu, and I've like, the thing is, like, I feel like once I start a show, I'll get, like, bored halfway, so then I'll start another show. So I have, like, 5 unfinished shows on Netflix, 2 unfinished shows on Hulu. It's just, like, a complete mess.
Yeah, it just adds up. Yeah. I live off of trials. That's me. So my Netflix 1 month trial is gonna expire tomorrow because I started it the day I got out of school. And so I have like another 5 or 6 emails to go through though. So I'm good for a while.
So what are you majoring in?
I am majoring in astrophysics.
Sneha, that's actually so cool. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. That's actually, like, that's so awesome. I never thought, I, when I was, like, when I was in freshman year, I was like, oh, there's, like, 5 majors: pre-med, pre-law, biology. Like, I only had, like, that list of, like,
Yeah,
stereotypical indie
yeah, yeah.
majors. And then, as, I think a bunch of colleges came to my school, and, like, they gave us, like, packets of, like, what their majors were, and there was, like, 70, 80 majors. I was like, oh my god, there's so many. Wow. And, like, even so, like, yes, your major's important, but, like, I feel like, you don't have to major in what you're planning on, like, doing in the future. Not necessarily.
And yeah, I don't know. For me, like astronomy was just kind of, I don't know, like the thing I went to, and I was really stressed when I was studying for spelling and everything. And I just realized that I liked it a lot, and I was like, why not do it as a career? Because I can, So I think, yeah, and I've done a lot of work with it already, so I definitely think it's something I can see myself doing for a while. But if I take classes and it's something I realize I don't enjoy, I'm also prepared to switch careers. Like I don't plan on like having a single like one track career as well. Like even if I become an astrophysicist, like I don't know, maybe I'll be running a business on the side, something like that, something fun, whatever it takes to keep me occupied and happy, I guess. Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Stroll of You podcast. We're so grateful to have everyone listen, especially during this time. And if you have any ideas for what we should say on our next episode, please DM us at the Queen Bee Project on Instagram. Thank you so much, everyone, and stay safe. I'll see you later.